Goed, goedemiddag dames en heren, collega's en belangrikste, die graad 12 wat ingeskakel het. Welcome to today's presentation of Afrikaans Paper 3, First Additional Language. I'm going to allow you to ask questions at the end of this presentation. So please write down while I'm talking if you've got some questions. And then if there's questions at the end, we will give you an opportunity to raise those questions. So ek gaan onmiddellik begin. Ek moet net op die regte bladsy hierso kom. Ja, wenke hoe om môre suksesvol te wees. Jy moet môre bietjie vooruit beplan. Jy moet môre met 'n game plan in daai saal instap. Jy gaan moet voorberei vir hierdie vraestel. Dit is jou belangrikste vraestel. Jy moet weet hoe verskil die Engelse transaksionele wat jy vandag gedoen het van die Afrikaanse transaksionele. Jy moet gaan kyk na daai formate. Gaan kyk hoe 'n huldeblyk verskil, jy moet gaan kyk hoe 'n brief se formaat verskil. Bly maar eerder by 'n posbus adres as wat jy na 'n straatadres toe gaan. En onthou, môre skryf ons Afrikaans, so jou datums met Afrikaans wees. Die beste is om November te skryf oralster, want November is in Engels en Afrikaans dieselfde spelling, dan maak jy nie onnodig foute nie. En dan gaan slaap maar 'n bietjie vroeg vanaand, laat jy uitgerus is, laat jy kan kreatief wees môre. Soos ek sê, jy moet met 'n plan in die eksamenlokaal ingaan en daardie plan moet deel van daardie plan moet wees hoe jy weet hoe hierdie vraestel bymekaar gestel is. En jy moet weet daar's 3 dele van die vraag of daar's 3 dele van die vraestel. Daar's 'n afdeling B, 'n afdeling C en dan die opstel wat afdeling A is. Hier kos vir jou brein vir hierdie hele eksamen nie net vir môre nie. Vis is ryk in omega-3 en dis baie goeie kos vir jou brein. As jy wil snack, bly weg van lekkers af. En eet liewer daai slegte suurappels. Dit is baie goed. In die oggende doen bietjie oats. Dit gaan jou energievlakke normaal hou. Eiers is jou vriend hierso. Hou 'n bietjie daai en dan drink genoeg water. Bly weg van die energiedrankies want dit gaan jou moeg maak. My titel hier by hierdie skyfie is Spyt kom altyd te laat. En laat ek net gehoor, ek is nou besig om te praat. Gee gou 'n bietjie vir my reaksie daar met duimpies of shaptekenkies, laat ek hoor of julle my kan hoor. Yes, ek sien daar so is duimpies, baie dankie. Goed. So ek het gesê kom asseblief met 'n wenplan skool toe môre. En as jy 'n wenplan het, dan beteken dit jy weet presies hoe die vrae sal lyk. Jy weet presies wat jy gaan doen, waarna jy gaan kyk. Jy moet nie dink, lucky packet, kom ons kyk môre wat gaan gebeur nie. You have to come with a game plan for tomorrow because you are planning to win, aren't you? So die volgende bullet is volhard tot die einde. You have to remember to write 3 creative writing pieces. The essay, a section A, the long transactional as well as the short transactional. Don't say, oh, I'm tired now, I will write a little bit later, and then time catches you and you leave out section C, which is 20 marks, which is the easiest one, and then you lose unnecessary 20 marks. Vraestel 3 is die belangrikste vraestel van die eksamen. Of jy dit nou wil weet of nie, en of jou wiskundeonderwyser dit wil weet of nie, dis die belangrikste vraestel. As jy hierdie een goed kan doen, kan die vraestelle wat volg net vir jou makliker wees. So, besluit vandag om die held van jou eie eksamenstorie te wees. Jy gaan nou besluit of jou verhaal suksesvol gaan wees en of hy gaan suksesvol gaan eindig vir die eksamen. Môre gaan dit bepaal. Ek gaan vir die onderwysers 'n lys uitstuur met idiome en dit sal so wees. Idiome om jou opstelse taal te verbeter. Ek wys net vir jou hoe lyk hy. So vra 'n bietjie vir julle onderwysers om dit vir julle aan te stuur. As jy bietjie verrykend wil skryf en jy wil bietjie detail in jou opstelle sit, dan kan jy iets daar gebruik. Moenie probeer om 'n idiom in elke paragraaf in te forceer nie, dit gaan nie werk nie. Een, dalk 'n tweede een. en dit gaan definitief jou kreatiwiteit van jou taal inkleer en jy gaan definitief punte daarvoor kry. Goed, verlede jaar se graad 12s het bietjie aangejaag met die vraestel en ons het toe vir die onderwysers gesê, skryf neer watse foute maak Vrystaat se graad 12s die heeltyd met vraestel 3. En ek gaan dit bietjie met julle bespreek. Die eerste ene, kandidate moet nie op die finale produk met potlood of swart pen redigeer nie. Jy gebruik 'n blou pen en jy skryf met 'n blou pen en jy redigeer met 'n blou pen. Redigeer is edit. So bly weg van 'n potlood af because we are not allowed to mark any pencil. And if you write with a blue pen, you start writing with a blue pen, we're not allowed to write to mark the black pen either. So have a blue pen ready and write with your blue pen all the time. Kandidate moenie op die geskrewe woorde versier nie. So when you are doing a poster or an advertisement, then some of you have time to draw pictures. The pictures are not getting any marks. Or what you do is you go with highlighters or with color things afterwards and you start drawing pictures over your text. And then it's difficult to read the text or the text is not visible. So be careful for that. So if you want to add pictures, as I said, pictures are not going to get you any extra marks. But as jy wil prente bysit, be careful that it doesn't hide the text because that's the stuff that you actually get marks for. So moenie jou skrif toemaak met versierings nie. Kandidate moenie opskrifte vir elke paragraaf gee nie. Whenever you write an essay, don't give a title or a subtitle for every paragraph. That's not an essay anymore. So bly weg daarvan af. Kandidate moet probeer om nie die woorde op die vraestel te gebruik nie. If you don't have enough words, you're going to tend to use the words of the question paper. We know this question paper by heart. The markers know this question paper by heart, which means we see and we cannot give you marks for words that are not your own. Even if you try to mingle the sentences, even if it's not plagiarism, we can still see that you have a lack of vocabulary and you can only use the words that's in the question paper. And therefore, we won't be able to give you any creative mark there or any content for that matter, as it wasn't your own attempt. Wanneer sierskrif gebruik word, moet dit duidelike sierskrif wees. You know nou weet ek nie wat is die Engels van die vasskryf nie. When you are Michelle, ek het jou mikrofoon ook aangesit en ek weet nie of jy my dalk kan help nie. Ek weet nie wat is vasskryf nie. Cursive writing. Dankie. So if you are used to doing cursive writing, then please make sure it's clear. Because cursive writing and creative writing is very difficult to read. So make sure that you have a beautiful cursive writing, otherwise print, please. Sommige sierskrifte is regtig onleesbaar en dan kandidate moet die eerste weergawe kanselleer. So whenever you're doing planning and whenever you do a rough draft, please draw a line through it, cancel it out, so we know there is a final draft that we have to look at. Otherwise, we have to mark your first answer. Kandidate moet die regte aantal woorde skryf. Do not write too little and do not write too much. Stick to the amount of words. We've given you leeway of 50 above and under. So you've got 50 up and down to be in that range, 300 tot 350. Beplan op een bladsy en begin 'n skryfstuk op 'n nuwe bladsy. Some of you are doing the planning and then you will somewhere start your answer on the same page as the planning. Start your final answer on a new page. The planning should be separate from your final presentation or final text that you are writing. Please be careful to know the difference between die en when to use die and when to use die bepaalde en die onbepaalde lidwoord. Die is when we know. Is when we refer in general. Kandidate moenie skryf liewe dubbelpunt ma. I do not know which language teacher has taught you this, whether it was in the primary school or whether it was in extra classes from somebody who hasn't been teaching. I do not know where you get it from, but nowhere you put a colon between your greeting and the person that you are greeting. The only place where you use colons are in the dialogue. Leerders moet met 'n blou pen skryf. We've done this because the internal moderator marks with a black pen. Leerders moet die verskil ken tussen lees en leer. If you do not know, I'm going to study for my work. Ek gaan vir my werk leer. I'm going to study for the subject. Ek gaan vir die vak leer. Ek lees nie die vak nie. Jy lees wanneer jy leer. That is part of learning. Reading is part of learning. But lees is reading. En leer is learning or studying. So please know the difference and use it appropriately. And we don't wash our teeth. We brush our teeth. So in Afrikaans sê ons nie ons was jou tande nie. Jy borsel jou tande. So maak asseblief seker dat jy reg gebruik. Jy was geen jou tande nie. Maak seker die briewe is op een bladsy. So it's very annoying when you write your whole letter and then on the next page you write your name. Come on. Then write an extra paragraph that goes over to the next page and then you end with your greeting and your name. Maak seker die briewe is op een bladsy, die slot moenie oorgaan op 'n nuwe bladsy nie. Die slot kan oorgaan op 'n tweede bladsy, maar moenie net jou naam op die tweede bladsy gaan skryf nie. Jy sal daai beplanning ook kan doen as jy jou brief bo begin, aan die begin van 'n bladsy en nie na beplanning nie. Maak seker van die formate en die skryfstukke. Be sure to know to study tonight. You have to go study your formats, your formate, the way your transactional text must be looking. Kandidate skryf nog steeds. Ek gaan by die dorp. Ons sê nie ek gaan by die dorp nie. Graad 12, ons sê ek gaan dorp toe. Make sure you write those sentences correctly. Ken jou voornaamwoorde en voorsetsels. Voornaamwoorde, hy, sy, dit, ek, jy, julle, ons, hulle. Voorsetsels in, op, onder, langs, na, binne. Sinne moet met hoofletters begin. I don't know why we have to say to a grade 12 child that you must start a sentence with a capital letter. En kandidate moenie hoofletters in die middel van die sinne gebruik nie. There shouldn't be capital letters in the middle of sentences unless it's the name of something, or at least if it's an acronym. Otherwise, the capital letters only in the beginning of a sentence. Gee aandag aan jou punctuasie. Make sure there's full stops and commas where they're supposed to be full stops and commas, and question marks and exclamation marks. Kandidate skryf woorde in Engels met die eerste weergawe en vergeet om dit te redigeer. So when you're doing your planning, some of you like to put in English words in your planning and think you're going to go back to it later and fix it, but then you forget, and then those English words are there, and then you get seriously penalized for using another language in an Afrikaans exam. So stay away from that. English words are not read. Engelse woorde word nie gelees nie. And if you use an English word in a sentence, that sentence might not make sense, which means you did not write enough or you have lost focus. And that will penalize you with 3 to 4 marks out of 50. And if it happens in every paragraph, that's going to be 4 marks per paragraph. General mistakes of vocab, let's look at them. tell. Ek gaan jou iets tell because it's directly translated from English. Ek wil jou iets vertel. Using lewe, which means life, instead of liewe. Using life of lewe instead of lewe, which means life. Ek het gesê, and you wanted to say, I said, or I am saying. Dan sê ons sê met 'n kappie. I want. In Afrikaans is nie ek want nie. In Afrikaans, I want is ek wil hê. Agterskool. Agterskool means behind the school. After school is na school. So get that little vocab issues fixed. Ek wil jou help. Nie ek wil jou hulp nie. Ek wil jou help. But I offer help. Ek bied hulp aan. Asseblief. Nie asseblief nie. Kyk na die spelling. Asseblief. Dan skoonmaak, nie skoenmaak nie. Ons maak nie die skoen nie, ons maak skoon en dis een woord. En ons pak die skottelgoed weg, ons pak dit weg. Ons pak nie hulle weg nie. Hulle is used for people. Dit is used for things. Die telefoon of die selfoon of die foon, nie die foon of die phone nie, want dit is dan afgelei na Engels toe. My fone is dood, my phone is dood. Nee, ons sê my selfoon is afgeskakel of die selfoon se battery is pap. Gunsteling. As ons praat van gunsteling en dit is saam met 'n selfstandige naamwoord, dan word dit as een woord geskryf. So ons sê my gunsteling onderwyser, my gunsteling kleur. En kyk na die spelling van die gunsteling asseblief. Ek, my broer en ek, in Afrikaans, moet ons altyd sê ek en my broer. Not my brother and I. Ek en my broer in Afrikaans ruil ons om, né? Te, ek het die huis skoon te maak. Nee, ek het die huis skoon gemaak. And that's part of your past tense, skoon gemaak. Ek het probeer. No, I've got a problem. Ek het 'n probleem. Probeer means to try. Of ek is klaar. And then you wanted to write, I'm done. Ek is klaar. Klaar means to complain. Ek gaan 'n brugjaar vat. Nee, ek gaan hom nie vat nie. Ek gaan hom neem. So, with so many O's. Nee, so word geskryf met een O. Wakker op. When you wake up. Ek wakker op. Nee, ek word wakker. Water die plante. Nee, ek maak die plante nat. Ek water nie die plante nie. Ek gedra my klere. Nou as jy sê ek gedra my, then it means I behave myself. So ek sê ek trek my klere aan of ek dra mooi klere. Nie ek gedra my klere nie. Hard. Die toets was baie hard. That is directly translated from English. It was a hard test. En ons wil nie dit en ons sê die toets was moeilik. Hard means the actual physical density of it hard. Doen, jy kan koffie doen? Nee, jy maak koffie. So doen word partykeer verwar met maak. Ek het verloor. Ek het verlos. Hy moet eintlik omgeruil wees. Jy skryf verlos en dan bedoel jy eintlik ek het dit verloor because you wanted to say I lost it. Dan sê jy ek het dit verlos. Dit moet wees ek het dit verloor. Dan instead of to en dan het ek dit gedoen en dan het ek dit gedoen en so you translate it again and then in Afrikaans sê ons en toe en toe en toe. Ek sal daarmee deel. Ek gaan jou klap as jy daarmee deel. Ek sal dit hanteer. Deal, to deal with something is to handle it. And to handle it means om dit te hanteer. Ons deel nie met iets nie. Dis 'n baie lelike anglisisme. Mees of baie voor 'n intensiewe vorm. Baie grasgroen. Nee man, baie bloedrooi. Nee man, sies. Mees of meer voor 'n intreppende trap. Mees belangrikste. Ja, daar is mos nou klaar die ste. Ons gaan nie nog 'n mees bysit nie. Vir my, hy het vir my die lewe lekker gemaak. Hy het my lewe lekker gemaak. Kyk na die verskil. Hy het vir my lewe lekker gemaak, dan moet ons sê die lewe. Maar hy het my lewe lekker gemaak. He entertained me in my life. Hy het my ek het my lewe geniet saam met hom. Hy het my lewe lekker gemaak. With, and then you sommer take the H away and you think it's now Afrikaans. Wit. Nee man, wit means white. If you want to say with, it's met. Hulle is geskrik? Nee, hulle is nie geskrik nie, hulle het geskrik. Hulle was dood? Nee, jy was nie dood nie because you didn't rise from the dead, Lazarus. So jy gaan liewer sê jy is dood. Maak suiker. Nee, we're not going to make sugar. Ons gaan seker maak. Die verkleinwoorde, when you write the chi, you do a TJ. No, it's either TJIE or DJIE, but it's not TDJIE. So kyk na die spelling daar. Ek beloof nie. If you want to say ek glo nie, I don't believe, you say ek beloof nie. Beloof means to promise. Glo means to believe. Onderstaan. Ek onderstaan jou. No, I don't understand. Ek verstaan jou. That's the correct way. Ek, and then you write the E and the K in capital letters because you think because I, the whole word I, which is only one letter is capital letter. No, in Afrikaans, only at the beginning of a sentence, we will write the E with a capital letter and the K will still be a small letter. Agteral, with the meaning of after all. Nee, die Afrikaans is aan die einde of na alles of uiteindelik. I want to become. And then you write bekom. No. Om iets te bekom, it means to get something. To become someone or to go into a job and you become a doctor, dan sê jy ek wil 'n dokter word. Soek. Wat soek jy? Ek soek. Ek wil hê. Ek soek die kos. Ek wil kos hê. Moeilik instead of mooi. And then moeilik also instead of moeilik, which is difficult. So be careful for the spelling there. Helpful. Jy was baie helpful. That is a terrible Afrikaans. There is no word like that. Dis behulpsaam. Behulpsaam. Ek is gespyt daaroor. No, ons is nie gespyt nie. You can never be gespyt. Ek is spyt daaroor. And then you love to do this one. Die. Die. No, daardie. That one. Daardie. Wat is 'n huisvrou? 'n Huisvrou is nie 'n bly by die huis ma nie. Dis eintlik vir my oulik. Maar dis 'n huisvrou. Dis nie ek gaan nie 'n bly by die huis ma wees nie. En dan kyk vir die spelling van dik en dun. Dik is nie die groot nie. Dik is die klein en dun is die groot Die kar het hom geslaan. Die kar kan nie slaan nie. Die kar het hom gestamp. He bumped into something with the car. Die venster moet skyn. The windows cannot shine in Afrikaans. Hulle moet blink. Blink, nie skyn nie. Skyn is shine like the sun would shine or a light will shine. But blink is to glimmer. Reuk en ruik. When to use reuk? The smell was terrible. Die reuk was terrible. But when you use it as a verb, I smell something terrible. Ek ruik iets verskrikliks. Vas, ek gaan bietjie vas. No. Vas in Afrikaans is, the meaning is fasting. In other words, to stop eating or to refrain from doing something. Whereas was is was or wash. Dis jou kiese? Is jou keuse. Daar's nie 'n kiese nie. I choose, dan kies ek. But if I have a choice, dan is dit 'n keuse. Ek vat die hond vir 'n stap. Jy vat geen hond vir 'n stap nie. Ons gaan met die honde stap. Betyds, betyds to be means on time. And sometimes means sometime. Boodskap my? In other words, text me or message me? No. Stuur vir my 'n boodskap. Jy kan nie sê boodskap my nie. Stuur vir my 'n boodskap. When means to win. So if you want to write something when, then it's wanneer. Hê 'n goeie dag. Have a good day. Directly translated. Nee. Hoop jy het 'n lekker dag. Then the ja spelling incorrect with a Y. And then the nie spelling incorrect with a nie, N-I-E. When you make your bed, in Afrikaans we don't say jy maak jou bed. Ons sê jy maak jou bed op. So you miss a preposition there. En jou bed is nie in jou bedkamer nie. Jou bed is in jou slaapkamer. So we talk about a sleeping room, not a bedroom. Still, as in I'm still doing this. Not still as in quiet, still. So then you write the Afrikaans still, which means quiet. And you meant nog steeds. I'm still here. Ek is nog steeds hier. Die gras is groot. The grass is great. Nee man. Die gras is lank. The grass is long. Verlede nag. Last night. Translated directly is wrong. Ons sê gisteraand. En wanneer jy die gras sny, dan ons sê nie jy skeer die gras nie, dan sê ons jy sny die gras. And a tournament in Afrikaans is a toernooi. So if you are interested in sports and you think you might be writing about a sports match, then use the word toernooi. World Cup, Wêreldbeker. So now you think because it might be a title, you can get away with the English words, and now it's part of your whole essay, and then we can't read it, and then we do not know what the essay is about, and you lose lots of marks. Wêreldbeker. Ek gaan toe die skool. Of ek gaan toe die huis. Nee, ek gaan skool toe. Ek gaan huis toe. Goed, en dan verkeerde uitdrukkings. In English we say she's my world, and then you want to say sy's my wêreld. Of you say sy's my alles. Sy beteken die wêreld vir my. And if you can write something like that properly, then it's going to be a much better effect for your language. And when you have a better mark for your language, we can also give you a better mark for your content because you know how to manipulate your language. So it's absolutely important that you use expressions 100% correct. The next one is kat uit die sak gelaat. Let the cat out of the bag. There's no such thing. In Afrikaans we have die aap is uit die mou gelaat. That is the correct way of saying that. So there's no cat in a bag in Afrikaans. The bags are full of monkeys in Afrikaans, not full of cats. And it's actually not a bag, it's your cuff. Goed, blaas in ons nekke. Blow in our necks? Nee, hy loer oor ons skouers. Tyd teruggevat, to turn back time. Tyd teruggedraai. Droomwerk maak spanwerk. Ons sê vele hande maak ligte werk. Dan die beste medisyne vir lagter You see that direct translation, the best medicine for laughter? Ons sê lag is die beste medisyne. In die blink van 'n oog, in the blink of an eye, ons sê in 'n oogwink, nie in die blink van 'n oog nie. Hy sal vir my uitkyk. Ons sê nie hy sal vir my uitkyk nie. That's also English translated meaning nothing. Hy sal na my omsien. So he will look out for me. Hy sal na my omsien. Ek breek af in trane. I break out in tears. Nee. Ek bars in trane uit. That's the correct way of saying it. Hulle het vir my deurgekom. Nee. They pulled through. Nee. Ons sê hulle het die wa deur die drif getrek. Die kleer het haar oë uitgedra. Nee. Sê die kleer het haar oë uitgebring. Of dit het haar oë beklemtoon. You're the apple of my eye. Nie die appel van my oog nie. Jy is my oogappel. And we don't see eye to eye. Dis nie, ons sien nie oog tot oog nie. Ons sê ons sit nie langs dieselfde vuur nie. Die laaste een daar wat geplaat verlede jaar. Die dood in my oë kyk. Ek kyk jou dood in jou oë, nee, ek kyk jou stip in jou oë. To not break eye contact. Stip in jou oë kyk. Goed, en dan by opstelle was daar ook probleme wat die onderwysers gesê het. Julle inleidings en julle afsluitings is te lank. 'n Inleiding en 'n afsluiting, introduction, and an ending must be short and powerful. So stay away from long, extravagant introductions because it's not effective anymore. Kandidate skryf die Engelse woorde in potlood. We've mentioned that already. Stay away from pencil, stay away from English words. And if you have time, do your editing and make sure that you reread your essay and your other creative writing pieces so that you are sure there's no English, so you're sure the capitalization is right in the word order and everything. Voornaamwoorde, sowel as die besitlike en die betreklike, word verkeerd gebruik. And then, ek word deurgaans met 'n hoofletter geskryf soos Engels. So, die voornaamwoorde, hy en sy het 'n bal, dit is haar bal. Dis nie sy se bal of so iets nie. So maak seker jy verstaan jou gebruik van jou voornaamwoorde. Ellips word met 'n 3 kolletjies geskryf. Nie 4 of 5 of 6 nie. Dan tydverandering in dieselfde sin. Byvoorbeeld, ek staan op, dan het hy my geskop. Nou het julle sommer die toekomende tyd gestuur en julle het ook die teenwoordige tyd daarso geskryf. Dit kan nie so werk nie. Ekskuus julle. Ekskuus, ek kry 'n boodskap dat julle nie iets op die skerm kan sien nie. Is dit die geval? Julle is veronderstel om 'n PowerPoint te sien op my skerm gedeel. Michelle, kan jy my dalk net sê?
Nee meneer, ons kan die
Is dit
PowerPoint
dalk
sien.
net kan julle sien dat ek hierso
Yes, ons,
so daar is getikte goed op die skerm.
yes.
Goed, dankie. Goed, ek het net gaan na daai boodskap gekyk. So die tydverandering in dieselfde sin het ons gedoen, geforseerde gebruik van intensiewe forme en retoriese middele. Ek weet jou juffrou het vir jou gesê, jy moet bietjie goeders gebruik om die taal in te kleur, né? Maar dit help nie jy oordoen dit nie. Dit help nie jy sê vir my die meisie met die spierwit hare klim in die bloedrooi kar en ry op die grasgroen veld nie. Dit is te veel, dit het geen doel nie, so jou retoriese middele moet relevant en effektief wees. Probeer om afkortings in die skryfstukke te vermy, veral by jou kreatiewe skryfwerk, en die woorde word by verkeerde lettergrepe afgekap. Beste manier is om daai woord te klank en dan saam met jou hande te klap en dan sal jy agterkom waar hy met afgekap word. Aanhalingstekens word gebruik in plaas van aksenttekens om woorde te beklemtoon. Jy beklemtoon nie 'n woord met 'n aanhalingsteken nie. Jy doen niks daardeur nie. So moenie aanhalingstekens gebruik nie, gebruik jou aksenttekens om woorde te beklemtoon. Sinne word te veel met so begin. So dit en dan so en so het ek dit en so, nee, bly weg van so af. Kandidate maak hulle eie titels op vir die eerste 5 vrae van die afdeling. Die eerste 5 vrae van die opstelling. The first 5 questions already have a title. Don't go and add your own title or change the title, then you are losing focus. Ekskuus, ek het net gou weer geantwoord, dis dalk iemand wat 'n tegniese probleem met 'n rekenaar het. Goed, afdeling B onderrig. Dui die verskille aan hoe die formele en die informele brief afgesluit word. So maak seker dat jy weet, ons praat van die ewe met die formele en ons praat van ons hoef nie eers te groet met die informele brief nie, maar as jy wil kan jy sê jou vriend of net groete met 'n punt en dan is ons klaar. Geen dubbelpunt na liewe nie het ons gesê. Kandidate laat lyne oop op verkeerde plekke. Maak seker jy weet wat is die verskil tussen die Engelse adres. Daar is nie 'n spasie by Afrikaans tussen die adres en die datum nie. Maak seker jy laat die lyne op die regte plekke oop. 'n Huldeblyk is nie 'n verhalende opstel nie. Jy vertel nie 'n storie met 'n huldeblyk nie. Jy mag vinnig 'n staaltjie vertel so that we can understand what was the connection between you and the person to whom this huldeblyk is done. But jy kan nie 'n hele lang verhaal gaan skryf nie. So daar's ons maar net gesê jy moet die kenmerke van die huldeblyk in Afrikaans ken en seker maak jy ken die verskil tussen die Afrikaans en die Engels. Beklemtoon die lengte van tekste. Wanneer 'n groet, whenever you're doing a huldeblyk, you're also basically doing a speech. So you have to greet your audience. You have to say goeiemiddag, goeiemôre, goeienaand en dan met wie ook al jy praat. Wys die kandidate daarop dat afdeling B en C het nie 2 afdeling B's nie. Remember, this is not home language that you're writing tomorrow. So you're not going to do 2 section B's. 1 section A, 1 section B, which is the long transactional, and 1 section C, which is the short transactional. So it's not the same as the home language. Stay within the length of the text so that you do not lose focus. Look at the format of the Dialogue again, where you have to use your colons. And then the last one, make sure you understand the addresses of the letters and how they differ, especially if the street address. Hersiening gee volledige voorbeelde van plakkate. Daar onthou as julle posters en goed doen, ons gaan dit nou bespreek. Moet dit aandag trek. Dit moet vir iemand gemik wees. Dit moet belangstelling wek. Dit moet jou laat oorgaan na aksie toe. So ons praat van die ABBA beginsel, maar ons gaan nou voorbeeld daarvan kyk. When you choose to do posters, no, it seems like you are focusing on pictures and big letters, and then there's not enough content, and then you lose a lot of marks with the poster or advertisement. There must still be sufficient content, 80 to 100 words, for us to give you enough marks. And then sometimes your posters look like invitations as well. So make sure of the format, make sure you have the vocab, otherwise do not do a poster. When you choose instructions, your sentences are too short, and you do not have enough detail. You cannot just say, draai links, draai rechts. Where? What will I see when I'm turning right? What must I be looking out for? Give more detail. Why should I be turning right there? And don't start your sentence with ek moet, because you're not giving instructions to yourself. You're giving instructions to somebody else or directions to somebody else. So say jy moet. Nog ander foute wat ons het by die taal is waardeer, to appreciate, en waardeer, through which. Eendag, which is one day, as in only one singular day, as in eendag with one word, where it's once upon a time. Ontkenning sonder 'n tweede nie. In other words, you say, ek het nie skool toe gegaan, and then you forget the second nie. Lui is lazy, or the bell ring. Lay is to lead, and lay with a Y is to suffer. So make sure you know the difference there. Klere. There's a big difference between colors. The first one, kleure, and clothes. The second one, klere. Verbaas en verras. Verbaas is to be astonished. Verras is to be surprised. Onmiddellik, look at the spelling, 2 D's and 2 L's. Bidtyds, we've mentioned that before. To be on time, dan moet jy bidtyds wees. Sometime means sometimes. And then Carol. When you have a boyfriend, he's your Carol. And when you're a girlfriend, he's your Macy. And then also knowing the difference between ken and weet. Right, so when we look at our paper 3, you can choose to add some detail or to leave the detail out. So ek noem die detail die slaai. So I'm always using the hamburger as the symbol, and I say, do you like this hamburger? There's a beginning, there's a middle, and there's an end. The bun and the patty and the bottom bun. And then I made a little picture for you there. Ach nee, Sisman. Because you will not be happy with such a burger. You would rather have this burger with all the juicy detail. And that's the same that you are going to do tomorrow. Tomorrow, you are going to share with us and you're going to prepare how to share with us the juicy detail. So jy gaan jou taal inkleer. Jy gaan jou sinne mooier maak. Jy gaan dit verbeter. Jy gaan nie net vir my daai hartseer opstel skryf nie. Jy gaan vir my 'n lekker sappige opstel skryf met baie detail in. Hoekom het ons detail nodig? Want jy gaan punte daarvoor kry. Waarvoor kry jy punte? Jy kry eerstens punte vir is die vraag beantwoord. En dan kyk ons hoe goed is die vraag beantwoord. En dan kyk ons ook, is dit te lank of te kort? Want as dit te kort is, dan sê ons jy het nie woorde nie. As dit te lank is, dan sê ons jy is nie gefokus nie. Reël 1. As jy 'n opstel skryf en jy weet nie wat die opdrag is nie, if you do not understand a word in one of the questions, then you do not choose that topic, then you choose another topic. And when you choose the best topic, it should be something out of your own experience, something that you have seen or experienced before. If you talk about something that you know nothing about, your words will run out. Your descriptions will run out, and you will not be able to keep focus, and you will not be able to make a success of it. So you must have knowledge of this topic. Jy moet kennis van die onderwerp dra. And then you must also ask yourself, do I have the vocab to be able to approach this topic or title? Watter opstel kan ek die beste eindig? Dit is regtig baie belangrik. As jy 'n onderwerp kies, gaan kies watter opstel het jy 'n goeie einde voor, want 'n goeie opstel het 'n goeie einde. So as jy nie aan 'n goeie einde kan dink nie, dan gaan dit nie 'n goeie opstel wees nie, dan sit nie 'n goeie keuse nie. So moenie omdat jy van die prentjie hou, die prentjie kies nie. Kan jy 'n goeie einde gee? Can you give a perfect ending for your essay if you can plan that ahead? But if you can't, then stay away from that topic. Also remember who's reading this essay. Also ask yourself, what do I know about this essay or this title or this subject, this topic? What's my previous experience and do I have the vocab for it? So here is a typical example of a question paper for section A, 250 tot 300 woorde. And there's 5 different questions. And when you answer your final draft, you must write the number, the question number, and the title. You don't write it in your planning and then you forget about it. In your final draft, I want to see question 1.1. Dit was moeilik om te groet. I don't want to guess what your essay is about. And remember we said, you do not add anything to these questions, these titles. You keep it as is. This is what was given to you. If you add something, you have lost focus and the question was not answered. So how will you choose the best topic? Again, we must say, what can you relate to? What do you know anything about? So, as jy jou vraestel doen en jy sien, die eerste 3 weet ek niks van nie, want ek ken nie verkeersligte nie. Of ek het nog nooit iets weggesteek nie, ek is 'n eerlike mens. Then you cross those questions out. You've read them, you know nothing about them, you cross them out. So you start limiting your choices until you've eliminated enough to make your final decision. As ons dan kyk na die prente, daar moet 'n duidelike verband wees tussen die opstel en die prent. You cannot just write anything. There must be a relationship between the picture and what you are going to do. And you are going to provide your own title. And in the title, you must already see that it's related to the picture. So let's look at this first picture. Here we can see it's about animals at home, pets. So if you start writing about a cow in the meadow, it's wrong. If that cow has become a pet in the house, it might be right. Even though there's not a cow on the picture here, the overall theme here is pets. So if you had a cow for a pet and this cow lived in your house, it's a different story. But otherwise, you cannot write about animals on the farm if the picture is about pets. This one was a question from 2022 or 2021, I can't remember. And it's a thumbs up, it's a like. Nah? So this is an evaluation of the year, but the fact that it says like, the fact that it says thumbs up means it's a positive essay. You cannot start writing about how bad the year was because then you've lost focus and you cannot, you won't be able to get marks for it. So this is a positive essay because it has a like and it has a thumbs up and it's about the year 2022. Look at that bird, you know that saying, if you love something, set it free, come back to you, it's yours. If it doesn't, it never was. Now imagine you want to write that and you translate it in Afrikaans and it doesn't sound like that at all. Then you've messed up your whole essay because you forced an Afrikaans or an English expression into Afrikaans without having the ability, the Afrikaans ability to do so. So stay away from it. So make the right choice when it comes to pictures. Here's another picture. I see children singing. That can be a choir. This can be a competition. They're holding their hands against their chest, so they might be singing the national anthem. So there's many interpretations for this picture. You cannot now write about the day when your sports team played rugby and then these children are just on the sideline singing the national anthem and the rest of the essay is about you winning the game and what happened in the match, because then they are not the main focus. The characters in this picture must remain the main focus. Or you can talk about choirs or competitions. This one is open for interpretation. Why are they lining up? Are they lining up for SASSA grants? Are they lining up for poor services at a clinic? Are they lining up for an election? Look at the environment. And then you can write an essay according to that. It's very important that you do plan your ending first. And we never do stuff like it was only a dream. Please wake up now from that dream and prepare something else. Berei iets anders voor. So when you do your planning, you do a mind map and jy werk van agteraf na vorentoe, because we say if you know where you are going to, you can plan how to get there. The reason why you guys have difficulty in planning or doing planning or try to do your planning afterwards, you're not pleasing anybody by doing that. The reason for planning is to have a better essay. So if you've determined your ending, then it's easy to plan on how you're going to get to your ending. But if you have not planned your ending, that's what's making planning difficult. So decide how your essay is going to end, and then planning of how to get there will be much easier. The ending, as I said, skryf eers die slotparagraaf, dan weet jy waartoe jou pad is, and then your ending must be impressive. If you can, it must leave the reader to think a little bit longer about it. It must have a wow effect. It must be short. And remember, the ending is the ending. It's done. Don't go further and write something more. You're done. Don't end with, of moenie die op die slot uitbrei nie. You've already done the ending. It's done. Or don't end with, toe word ek wakker. Dit was net 'n droom. Or that's why I write about this. Dis hoekom ek hier oor skryf. No, don't state the obvious. Or ending with donkey. No. You're not busy with a speech. You're not getting a SASSA grant and now you want to say thank you for that. Somebody's not giving you a present. None of those things. You don't say donkey at the end of an essay. Have you ever read a book and then at the end it says donkey? Have you ever watched a movie And then the final person in the movie, in the final scene, says, "Thank you." Don't do it. Rule number 2, do not commit plagiarism. In other words, if you are thinking about a movie that you've seen or a book that you've read, and now in the story you're going to retell me that story, you're basically taking somebody else's creative work and you're trying to make it your own. And I said, do not translate anything that you've done today in English. Don't try to redo it tomorrow in your Afrikaans. It's not going to be successful. So stay away from that. So remember, your teachers also see movies and they also read books. They are not hiding under stones the whole day. So if you tell a story or something, somebody would have probably seen it, and then it's not your own creativity and you're going to lose a lot of marks. When you do your planning for your mind map, you put every idea in its own little block. So that will represent a paragraph. And then those are keywords now. And then you put some supporting detail ideas with that main keyword. And then you arrange them to see, okay, how will the story flow? First, I'll talk about this, then we'll move on to this area, then we'll move on to that area. This is just, again, coming back to the burger theme, how you can do your mind map, where you have your beginning on top, and then all the juicy detail, and then ending again at the bottom. Or you can build your burger from the bottom upwards, doesn't matter. Remember, especially with transactional text as well, when you write an idea, there must be elaboration on that idea. You cannot just say, "Save us a slim Macy." Tell me why she was smart. Explain a little bit more. Make it more interesting. Make it more mature, because that's what you get marks for. If you reply or you respond in your answer in a mature way that says, "This is way better than we expect from the normal grade 12 mentality." So if you stand out above the rest, show us in your writing work that you're a little bit better than the rest. Relevant is elke paragraaf gefokus op die storie of wyk jy dalk af? So dit is waarvoor die beplanning daar is, om seker te maak jy hou by jou storie. Dis ook hoekom jy die einde moet beplan, because then you know where you're going to, and then you won't go off path or off track. So jy moet gefokus bly. And when you add detail, ask yourself whether this detail is relevant, if it's important. Because if you add too much detail, then the detail becomes so important and so emphasized that it removes the whole essay from the main focus. So be careful for that. Remember, your organization is important, the introduction, and then the body, how you organize that in paragraphs, and then your ending. Waarvoor kry jy punte? Kry ook punte vir jou taal. En toon is een van die eerste dinge. So what kind of words are you using? And who's the one that's reading it? So if you use bad words or not interesting words, then your tone is a little bit flat. But if you use a little bit more idioms, expressions, and you can color it in with a little bit more detail, then your tone would be perfect. Kyk na die woordkeuse. Ons kan sê, is die kos lekker? Of sê ons die kos kan smaaklik wees? Do you see the difference there? Lekker is a wonderful word. But if we overuse lekker, dit is lekker, then later it's boring. So there's other words for lekker. 'n goeie woordeskat gaan die leser beïndruk. A good vocabulary will impress the marker, the person who's marking your essay. Look at this sentence construction. Instead of saying, die bal is rond, die bal is rooi, die bal speel lekker. What about, ek speel lekker met die rooi ronde bal. And you see the alliteration there as well. And the assonansie daarso. Goed. Retoriese middel, jy kan stylfigure en beeldspraak gebruik. Jy kan figuurlike betekenis insit. Gebruik idiome, vergelykings, personifikasie. Don't overdo it, but do not neglect. That's most why you did paper too. That's most why you did literature, so that you can improve on your writing. If you didn't know that, now you knew. Begin jou paragraaf met jou hoofgedagte. So every paragraph has a main idea, and then you elaborate with detail. When you elaborate, remember, we are not in your mind. So don't assume we think what you think. So tell us, what can you see? What do you want the reader to feel? What do you want the reader to see? What do you want the reader to hear? What do you want the reader to smell? What do you want the reader to taste? That's what you do in your detail, to describe with your writing how the reader's 5 senses can be used. When you talk about your ruimte, your milieu, then it's important, if the milieu is important, but usually it is, we need to know your backdrop. Where is it happening? And if you want to describe it, and if it's important to describe in detail, then do so. Otherwise, just tell us where. Otherwise, the backdrop is just black in our minds. It's just darkness with a few characters, and the background is just black. So paint us the picture with your words. Liggaam, if the time is important, especially if you are telling a story that handles or that deals over a certain amount of time, then you must specifically separate those paragraphs as well to indicate that there's a time difference. The characters, you have to describe these characters. How do they look like? What do they think and feel? And don't elaborate too much if it's not relevant. You cannot, the main character is the one that we want to be in the mind of, but we do not want to know how everyone feels like. We just want to know something about it. Our minds will color in the rest. Then there's the plot. There's a problem. You're going to tell us about this problem. You're going to tell us how this problem occurred and how this problem escalated. And then we are going to reach a climax, and this is where it's the highlight. This is where the secret is out. This is the big reveal. And then the ontknoping, how this problem is solved. And then with this ontknoping, it's very important to attach some feeling that you want to carry over, the feeling of the character, the experience of the character, whether it's sadness, happiness, anxiousness, fear, whatever the feeling is, that must come out. Editing of your task, if you've done a rough draft, look through it. Don't just start writing. Read through it again so you can see you have made mistakes and you can correct those mistakes there. Make sure of your word order, make sure of your capital letters, make sure of your exclamations and your punctuation, make sure of spelling errors. See where else you can use rhetorical efforts such as synonieme, idiome, uitdrukkings of intensiewe forme. Soek vir beter woordkeuses, kyk na beter sinskonstruksies. So this is where you look for which one is the best. How is it going to work? That's part of your editing. Don't make your sentences too long. Remember, you're not having a conversation, you are doing creative writing. So if you want to make the sentence too long, your reader is going to be confused. So jy kan nie sê, ek het na daai ding gestap omdat ek dit wil doen en daarom het ek dit gedoen en dit is hoekom dit dan nou so is and then you add some more voegwoorde to it. No, keep your sentences short, not long, elaborate sentences. Because although you are telling a story, you are not talking about it and you do not have the hand gestures, so there's no body language, so communication is half. So you must use your words and your sentences and your punctuation to get the message across, the best message you can. Dink aan 'n treffende inleiding, and this introduction must match the closing. It must give me an idea of what I think might happen at the end. It's like a movie trailer. Something is happening, and is it going to prickle my interest to read further? Do I want to read this? The marker has to read it, unfortunately, even if it's nonsense. But I know you're not going to write nonsense. Die inleiding laat my wonder oor wat die slot mag wees. Do not start with. Vandag ek gaan skryf 'n opstel oor die masker. Do not state the obvious. Don't tell me you're writing. We can see you are writing. That tells me that you do not have the vocab. That's not how you start. That's not an introduction. Imagine a movie starts like that. Today you are going to watch a movie full of bombs and cars that explode. That sounds interesting now. What about this? Ons het gejuig, gedans en gesing toe ons uiteindelik hierdie nuus gehoor het. That's your introduction. And then we do not know what. And I want to know, what news? What made you so excited? And immediately I'm interested of what happened here. And it sounds good and it sounds effective. And I want to read more. Inleiding. Trek dit aandag. Is it related to the topic? Your inleiding can be shocking. You can quote. But when you quote, please do not directly translate, and please do not quote an English quote. If you say to me, Einstein said something, he probably said it in German, and it was translated in English. So therefore, if you want to tell me about Einstein and what he said, you can quote him, but you quote him in Afrikaans. So do not use a quote in English and think, oh, this is a way to put more words in my body without thinking that the teacher will think I do not know Afrikaans. English is not marked, so that whole quote will be gone. It will not be seen as part of your answer. So forget about quotes. If you do not know quotes in Afrikaans, go practice one if you want to use it. Otherwise, or if you have a favorite quote that you like to use, know how it is written in Afrikaans as well. Your introduction must force the reader to want to learn more, and it should be short. Another few moenies. Eendag lank gelede, stay away from that. Of ek skryf hierdie opstel. Or you start with a date. Unless the date is relevant, don't start with a date. And you don't start with a day either. Dit was 'n Woensdag. Unless the Woensdag is a very relevant thing and it's the main idea, then don't start with it. Or vandag ek skryf oor. Don't. Stay away from that. Vandag ek praat van, when you're doing a speech. No. You're not talking about anything. You are preparing a speech that is going to be done. And you don't have to say you're talking about it. People will realize when you do the speech, you can talk. Congratulations. Ek as mens. As opposed to what? Don't say ek as mens. Me as a person. I don't understand. What are you trying to say? In my opinion. No, just give your opinion if you feel like giving an opinion, if you think it's valid. Don't just say it's my opinion. I mean, who else has written this work? It's obviously your opinion. A wise man once said, who is that wise man? Quote that person. Don't call him a wise man. Then you don't know what you're talking about. In other words, you don't give detail and you're not believable. Corrections done in pencil will not be considered. We do not mark pencil. So if you edit in blue. Give a title. So if you choose a picture, you give a title and you add the question number as well. So we can see this title matches this question number. If you want to guess, if you allow the marker to guess, he might guess wrong. Laat 'n reël oop tussen die paragrawe. Leave your spaces open. Use your punctuation. You see, I'm repeating the same thing all over. I've said so many times punctuation, spacing. Rule number 3, cancel your planning. Draw a line through it. Make sure that everything that you do there is cancelled and that the marker knows there is a final product that he or she must mark. Again, do not write in pencil or do your corrections in pencil because it will be ignored. Then we get to the transactional text. And here we say again, your format is the most important thing, and that's what you are preparing tonight, to go look at your formats. So the question paper is set into 3 categories, and you will get all of these categories in your paper. So there will be some kind of letter, and there will be some kind of report or speech that you'll have to do, and there will be some kind of dialogue in your long transactional text. In section C, there will be some kind of advertisement or poster. There will be some kind of text message that includes feelings or a diary entry that includes feelings. And there will be either instructions or directions. In transactional text, what are you getting marks for? Again, did you understand the question and did you answer the question based on the format and the content of that format? So does it look like a letter if we ask the letter? Does it look like a dialogue if we ask the dialogue? And then were you on topic for it? If you do not understand a question or a word in the question, choose another one. Otherwise, you're going to make mistakes and you're going to lose marks. Focus word behou is al die dele van die vraag beantwoord. In other words, some questions entertains more than one question in the question. I'm saying it again. Some questions have more than one question in the question. Make sure that you answer all of the aspects of the question. Otherwise, you're only going to get half the marks of that paper. So he says, al jou idees relevant tot die opdrag, is jou groet in die brief langer as die rede. So when you do a letter and you say, hello my vriend, hoe gaan dit my vriend? Ek is goed my vriend, is jy goed my vriend? And now you're already busy with your second paragraph and you're still greeting, but you have not started, then you have lost complete focus. And you did not answer the question because you are asking your friend about his personal life instead of answering what the question paper has told you to do. And then when you do answer it, please elaborate with detail. So here I have 2 pictures. I've got the Christmas socks without presents. That's when you answer and say, hallo my vriend, ek hoor jy wil volgende jaar 'n brugjaar vat. Ek dink dit is goed. Ek sal saam met jou 'n brugjaar vat. Totsiens. Lekker dag. Now you've just given me the basic answer. But what if you say this? Hallo my vriend, ek hoor jy wil 'n brugjaar vat. Ek dink dis 'n goeie idee. Ek het al bietjie daaroor gelees. En dan vertel jy vir my wat het jy gelees en die voordele daarvan. En dan stel jy voor dat jy saam 'n brugjaar vat en dat julle saam ergens heen gaan. Now there's detail. Now there's more. Now there's gifts in that socks. And this is what we want. So when we look at the format, it's like we ask, is it what we asked? Does it look like what we asked? Is this dates where the date's supposed to be? Are the spaces left open where the spaces are supposed to be left open? That's what you are checking on today. When we look at tone and style, there's formal transactional text and there's informal transactional text. Make sure you use the correct language and appropriate language. So if you are doing a speech for teachers, the language is going to be a little bit different than when you would do a speech for your friends. Again, spelling, word order, sentence constructions, and you refrain from using etc. ensovoorts. It doesn't happen for you. Afkortings also. It's not going to happen for you. Are you using special language? Like, ek sal die dag nie vergeet nie. What about dit was 'n onvergeetlike dag? Of, my vriend, jy is my beste vriend. Compare that with, daar is net een vriend soos jy. So try and improve on your language or your sentence constructions. So in category B, there's a friendly letter or a formal letter or a CV with a formal letter or a letter to the press, which is formal or informal, and then an email, which is formal and informal. As ons kyk na die vriendskaplike brief, this is just to show to you that there are many aspects in the question that you have to look at with those arrows. I'm moving on faster because our time is running out. There's also the informal letter, and again, the arrows are showing you all the different aspects that you need to take into consideration wanneer jy hierdie brief kies. Jy moet aan jou maat skryf, en jy gaan vir jou maat sê wat jy na graad 12 beplan om te doen. Look at that address, stick to that address, and it's an informele brief, dan sê ons liewe ma en pa, and we end with liefde groete of mooi wense, and then it's a full stop, and then our name. We don't have to put name and surname because it's informal. However, when we do the formal letter, there's two addresses. Look at the spacing between the date and the address. We start with geachte, and then we have a subject line, and then when we end, we say die Eva, and then we have a name and a surname, or initials and a surname and a signature. This is a possible question for a CV where there's an advertisement. You'll get an advertisement, and then based on that advertisement, you have to write a letter, an introduction letter of yourself, basically, that will accompany your CV. The email, again, make sure you understand what is expected of you in every question. So use a highlighter, underline them, color them, so that you understand all the aspects that must be answered. Because it's an email, you think it's electronic and it's informal. An email is the most formal thing that we can get now in terms of communication. So when it's a formal request or a formal letter in the question, then you stick to formal. If it's informal, you can go to an informal tone. We still don't use abbreviations. We still don't use slang. We don't use emojis. Emails are emails. It's like letters. It's like formal letters or informal letters. How do we do the email? There will be an address from whom it is and to whom it is, and then the date and a subject line. The rest is not so important. If you have this type of example in your books, in your writing notes that you've been given, the most important thing that we worry about is the to and the from and the date and the subject line. And then your email format is complete. There it is again. To whom, from whom, and you see it's usually, and not usually, it's always email addresses at, and then a .co.za or .gov.za or a .com, depending on what, and then the subject line. But the rest of the letter stays the same way in the same format as an informal or a formal letter. Everything is the same. Nothing changes. When we do a tydskrif artikel of a koerantberig, you can go study that for yourself. The introduction is the biggest part, and then the rest of the detail is getting less and less and less, and that's why the triangle is upside down. Because the most important detail is in the beginning, then the middle is about just elaborating on the detail that was, or on the things that was given in the beginning, and then just the closing, which is usually just a conclusion. Hulde remember, a hulde can be of somebody that's alive or who has passed. It's not like the English where it's only about a person who has passed. So if we celebrate somebody's life, make sure you understand the question. Don't kill the person in your exam room tomorrow. If that person is still alive and you want to celebrate his life and then you kill him, you're not going to get marks for it. So please don't kill the character tomorrow. Unless that character is dead, then we can not speak ill of that dead. Not going to do this one. So this one is for a person that's alive. And when we talk about a person that's alive, we talk about his achievements, sy prestasies, sy hoogtepunte. maybe what is achieved academically, how you're connected by a little short story, a stalkie, or memories that you have of this person or with this person. At the end, when we do a Holder Black, the most important thing in every marking guideline is we have to get an idea of who this person is. So you must describe this person in such a way, not how this person looks like, but what this person has done, what he's done for his community, what he's done for his family, what he's done for you, to get an idea of who this person is. It's just an example. Our time is running out, so I'm moving on very quickly. Category C is the dialogue, or the interview, or the toespraak, the speech. And the dialogue, again, I'm not going to go through these questions, but I'm going to show you. Do you see the names attached with the colon? And then in a line, the actual words, but there's no punctuation. So make sure you get your formats for your dialogue, and that there's turns being taken. Don't add your own characters. If it's between two people, it remains between two people. Don't go add extra stories in this dialogue. Interview can also be in dialogue form, or it can be in this paragraph form, where the first paragraph is a question, then the next one is an answer, and the next one is a question, the next one is an answer. The speech, you've done speeches with your oral, so you're familiar with that. Make sure you have a proper introduction, and then your arguments in your body, and then your closing. And remember, there's a greeting. If you forget the greeting, then your speech will fall flat. When we look at posters, remember, ooreed mense om te reageer. Who's the target market? What is the product? Keep it simple. En die ABBA beginsel is aandag, belangstelling, begeerte en aksie. So there's an example of an advertisement, but I cannot see where can I get this. I don't have a contact person. I don't have a name of the business. So I just know that there's Wonder Bread. But this is not a successful advertisement because I can see a price, and I can see that 9 out of 10 mothers has used it. But now where can I get it? How can I go over into action? Who can I contact? So I just know about this dream bread, but nothing else. So this is incomplete. We look at this poster. This poster looks more like an invitation because it's got the date, time, place, what to wear. So what is it? So make sure there's more detail. And when you write detail, don't write English words in the detail because we cannot read it. So it's not detail anymore. Here's a good example of a good poster. It's got a little bit of the invitation format in there, date, time, access. It's got letter size. It's got letter type in there. It's got explanations. It's got contact numbers. It's got the product and prices, everything. It's the where, the when, everything that we need to know. So this is a wonderful poster. A pamphlet is like a poster, probably just something that you can fold, but it also has all of the aspects that the poster must have. An invitation can be very short, or you can elaborate with sentences and make sure that you can get the marks. Because if you make your invitation too short, you're not going to get good marks. You're going to be hanging around 50%. And we cannot afford to just get 50% for paper 3. We need to get a lot so that it helps with the paper 1 and 2 that might be difficult. Diary entries. There's usually, there are 2 diary entries. Make sure you understand the first one will always be something before, and the other one will always be something after. Make sure you understand what it's before, not what it's after. Otherwise, don't do the diary entry if you do not understand. And remember, this is about feelings. So you need to use feeling words here. How do you feel? Don't tell a story. You're not writing a story right now. You are telling us how you feel. This is just an example, but look, I've added some red words to the screen. Wat 'n dag, dit was weer een van daai. There's something wrong with die. And there's a spelling mistake as well. Berywige, bedrywige. So daai is daardie. So use it correctly. And then is that in die badkamer, maar ek het iemand ontmoet vandag in die badkamer. Is that in die badkamer on the right place or must it move? Must the place, if we think of Stompie, must the word order move? Maar ek het vandag time and then iemand ontmoet in die badkamer of iemand in die badkamer ontmoet. The verb goes to the back. So you must check your word order. Nadat ons heerlike pouse gesels het, dink ek dat daar dalk iets goeds uit hierdie geselsie, and then you love doing this as well. Ek gaan uit die huis uit. Ek gaan in die winkel in. We do not use the in and the uit. You just say it once. A text message, here's just an example of the text message. The only format that we have with the text message is the time. You write your whole thing. It can be one paragraph, it can be more than one paragraph, and then you end it with time. And here you can use emoticons. Goeiemôre Nelly, ek hoop om 2 te vertrek. And dan gaan ons aan, and then finally the time at the end. The date on top is not as important. It's the only thing that's important for format that you will get marks for, or will lose marks if you don't add, is the time that the message was sent. So here is another example of a more formal SMS or WhatsApp, where we greet in the beginning and we give our message, and then we greet again at the end, and then the time. When we do instructions, make sure you have your instruction words laid out. Instructions is command sentences. Therefore, you start with your verbs. When you do rigtingaanwysings, make sure you know the grammar and the language for rigting. Hou links, draai by, aan jou linkerkant. Here's a little picture. I will make sure you get this presentation as well. Hou reguit aan, draai regs, draai links. U draai, hou verby, kruis die straat, op die hoek van, neem die eerste straat regs. All of those things are important. And that, my dear friends, are the end of my presentation. And I'm going to open the floor now before it ends for you to ask questions. So if you want to ask a question, now's the time. You can raise your hand with the raise button, and then I will switch your microphone on if there's any questions.